Most of the time, affordable, reliable, and efficient transportation is all that you need. So for some folks, a used Hyundai Elantra could be perfect. And we should know because we've driven them all.
Edmunds drives, tests, and rates hundreds of cars each year. As trusted experts, we've teamed up with CarMax to help you make the best car buying decision.
Now, this is Hyundai's compact sedan, and this generation debuted back in 2021. But in 2024, we got a pretty heavy refresh, which included this sharper front-end styling, as well as some interior improvements. It's the smaller sibling to the mid-size Hyundai Sonata, and it has some pretty tough competitors. The Edmunds highly rated Honda Civic, the Toyota Corolla with a reputation for reliability, the value-packed Nissan Sentra, and the Elantra's stylish cousin, the Kia K4. But we know what you're asking. What is it gonna cost? Well, the Elantra and the Corolla are about the same, but you're gonna save about $5,000 compared to a Honda Civic. But the Sentra will cost you about $1,000 less, so that remains the budget pick of the pack. It's important to note that most of these have hybrid versions that are a little more expensive. Our hands-down favorite is the Civic, but our data says it will cost you a lot more than the rest. But even though the Elantra is affordable, you still want to make sure that your everyday driver has got good crash test and reliability ratings, right? Mostly really great news here for prospective Elantra buyers. Now, we use RepairPal, which is an independent reliability tracker for information like this, and they give the Elantra 4.5 out of 5 stars for reliability, and that puts it in 8th place out of 36 compact cars when it comes to annual average repair costs, frequency, and severity. Now, yeah, there's going to be a few cars in the class where you might spend a little bit less time in the garage and maybe a little bit less money, but by and large, that's a really good rating. Now, we should mention, though, that we did come across a few very negative anecdotal reliability comments in the owner reviews on the Edmunds site. But crash test ratings are simpler. The Elantra earns a top safety pick from the IIHS and a 5-star overall rating from NHTSA, both excellent results. So we've ticked the boxes for and crash test ratings, but what is this car like to live with every day? We'll give you some reasons why you should pick or pass on the Hyundai Elantra. Now, the first thing we noticed about this car when we drove it is how easy it is to see out of. I've got this big, wide windshield, and then the nose dips down, so I've got an excellent view out the front. The blind spots on the side are minimal, and we're really impressed with the windows in this size of a car. I mean, yes, you don't think about it because it's a car. Of course, it has windows. It's just that these are so big. This car feels a lot more open and airy than other compacts that we've tested. And the excellent natural visibility makes the Elantra super easy to park. But visibility isn't the only thing we appreciate from behind the wheel. The efficiency here is really impressive. This Elantra with the base engine, not the sporty turbocharged Elantra N-Line, is EPA rated at 36 miles per gallon combined, and owners report even better numbers. Plus, on the Edmunds testing loop, we saw 41.8 mpg, and that is crazy good for a non-hybrid vehicle, and it's even better than some hybrids we've tested. But if you really want to save on fuel, you can get an Elantra as a hybrid, and that version gets over 50 miles per gallon, which makes it one of the most fuel-efficient vehicles that you can buy on the market today. And that is the version of the Elantra that we would recommend, not only because it's more efficient, but it's just smoother to drive. We also really appreciate the tech in here. Remember, compact cars are manufacturers' most affordable option, but you would never know it by looking at all the big screens in here. And that's because top trims of the Elantra, like this one, get a large screen that's really easy to use and very well laid out. Plus, it's an inch larger than even the largest screen that you can get with the Honda Civic, and that extra real estate translates into fonts that are larger and buttons that are just easier to use while you're driving. Plus, we always appreciate when we get physical controls for features we use the most. Our testing team also noted that the navigation system is simple and intuitive with easy menus and directions. One oddity to point out, you can get an Elantra with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but only if you go with one of the lower trim levels with the smaller screen. Strangely enough, this larger screen system's Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, that only works with a wired connection. Good thing there are plenty of USB ports. I've got 2 in the front, 2 in the back, plus wireless charging. So you've got 5 people in here and all of their phones are dead. As long as you got enough cords, you should be golden. Now, here's something I bet you didn't expect to see on a little teeny tiny car like the Elantra. The Elantra actually has a fair amount of space in the trunk. Now, none of the sedans in this segment are good for like moving furniture or bringing home your new 85-inch TV, but the Elantra has more space back here than we expected. Now, if you want more space in this form factor, you're gonna have to look for a hatchback, which unfortunately the Elantra isn't available as. So look to the Honda Civic or the Toyota Corolla for that. But here's one detail we really appreciate. You can fold the seats down from the trunk instead of opening the trunk and then walking around to either side and pulling a lever on top of each of the rear seats. Now that's what we've had to do in a Toyota Corolla and the Nissan Sentras that we've tested. And in the Elantra, when you do have the seats folded down, you get a mostly flat area that is good for longer items. Now we do wish there was a way to fit those long items like skis or fishing poles without sacrificing either of the full-size rear seats, but honestly, that's a feature that you just can't get on any compact sedan. Now, the Honda Civic sets the bar really high when it comes to small storage. So in comparison, the Elantra is just kind of like it's there. Your best bet is to utilize the little space in front of the shifter. But if you have more items, you can put them into the center console, and there is room in the door pockets as well. Now, we've had a lot of good things to say about the Elantra when compared with other affordable compact sedans, but our impressions aren't all positive. Now, most of the problems that we have with the Elantra come from right here behind the wheel, specifically when you put your foot on the gas, because the Elantra is slow. And when you got your foot into it, I mean, that thing sounds like it's really working. We know not everybody really cares about horsepower, and frankly, most of the cars in this segment are gonna feel a little sluggish. But listen, if you buy this thing, you are gonna be trying your patience and cursing at that little 4-cylinder engine every time you need to go up a steep grade or pass at highway speeds. So my advice to you is plan ahead and don't be afraid to dig into that throttle. It's what you gotta do. And frankly, not a lot of cars that we've tested have had this problem. The transmission can make the engine feel slow to respond as well. So its job is to make sure that the engine is spinning fast enough to give you power when you need it, but also keeping engine speeds low while cruising to get the best fuel economy. And in the Elantra, it's tuned to maximize MPGs. And that means that when you step on the gas, there's often a delay before you get the power that you're asking for. So watch. I'm stepping on the gas now. There it is. There it is. And now I'm finally getting the power. That's not great. And like a lot of other cars in this segment, there is a fair amount of wind noise, and that can get kind of tedious on longer drives. And I'm not saying that the driving experience here is a deal breaker. I'm just saying that it's something you should look out for. And that is the Hyundai Elantra. It's affordable, it's got good crash test ratings, great mileage, it's easy to see out of, impressive technology, and there is more space than you would expect. Just don't think that you're gonna go making any speed records, okay? But listen, I wanna know what you think. Is a used Hyundai Elantra right for you and your lifestyle? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you next time.